Hey YouTube, how the heck we doing? We are back with part two of the coaching. So y'all may have seen my Neace coaching video. If you haven't, check it out with the description below. But I did a react to Neace coaching. Now we have the pleasure of also coaching the same student. So he was the Teemo in the Neace coaching, and I reached out to him, and he also watches my YouTube and my content. A hell of a guy. And now we're gonna be coaching him as well to see how the coaching stack up with one each other. So without further ado, this is the Sauce. He's a Gold 3 Teemo main on the NA server, and he's ready to party. The Sauce, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on, Manco? I am honored to be here. A very big fan, um, big inspiration. As you know, Teemo is the greatest champion in the whole game, and just excited to get better. Let's do this, man.
You are a freaking natural. You should start streaming.
I've tried before. It's a little bit nerve-wracking.
Oh, amen. Okay, so we're hopping in game, and you can see right where what I'm watching, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing things a little different. We're doing a VOD review instead of a live coaching. I believe that those are way better for info. And this is a game he played recently. So we're going to keep it in like the Nice style. I'm not going to go too much into runes and builds and focus mainly on like this advice is good for all top laners, not just Teemo, right? I am a Teemo one trick, but hitting Challenger doesn't mean I can not play any other champion in the world. So it's going to be a lot of, hey, this is how you get better at top lane, not just Teemo everything. So at the start of the game, right, we're fighting a little bit, that's fine. But at the start of the game, the more important thing you need to do is, as a top laner, is kind of map out the level one. So I'm going to pause for a second. Level one, the game starts, right? The game doesn't start at 3 minutes, it starts at level one. So immediately, as a top laner, you should think about their jungler and your jungler. So this game, for example, also, let me turn the map off. Okay, so I like doing these with what you see, so we don't have any cheat codes. So already level one, the Sauce. This is kind of like the mindset I want you to be in future games, because we're not just doing this for a YouTube video. I'm going to keep up with you. Hopefully, we can get you plat before the season ends. So level one, think about your jungler versus their jungler, right? Your jungler is Karthus. He is known to power farm, so you can assume you're not going to be getting any ganks, right? That's normal. That's expected. It's fine. Their jungler is Belveth, who can gank or farm. So already level one, you should think, hey, I'm versus Udyr. Can I push the wave or not? If I push the wave, I know I'm not going to have jungle presence, right? It's a Karthus.
Ah,
That should already be in your head, right? So maybe, I mean, if you want to take the risk and push the wave, go for it. If you want to play it safe, go for it. But at least have this knowledge. At least put this on your radar, right? Belveth, she can either farm or gank. Don't quote me on that, but like I would assume we're gonna check out the laners to see where she starts, but like she could gank. It's not like you're versing a Yumi jungle, right? Like she
yeah.
might be able to gank you. So already that's kind of, I want to form that base game plan level one about the junglers, and from now on you should start doing that too. Maybe you haven't done that before this coaching, but that already should be in your head level one.
Okay. I definitely need to connect those dots. I was definitely aware of not. I was aware of how our jungle's farming, but I wasn't connecting that this dude's not going to gank for me, whereas
Yeah.
theirs would. That I didn't connect that. That's a good point.
Yeah, and sometimes these aren't like concrete proof, but it's like usually pretty set in stone. Like Lee Sin's gonna level three gank 90% of the time. Rek'Sai's a
Hmm.
power ganker; she's in a level three gank, right? Oh, okay, we're getting invaded on. Oh, Nelly. Okay, didn't see that coming. All right, so this changes a little bit. Nothing you could do there. This changes the game just a little bit. All right, so now your game plan kind of changes. Now it's like, okay, now we know our jungler's going to be behind and their jungler's going to be slightly ahead. So immediately this
I
changes things. I go ahead.
I was gonna say I remember this. This was a struggle of a game.
Well,
Not the
yeah.
best game.
we'll we'll see how it goes. On the scoreboard, it looked pretty decent. All right, here's our first bit of info. Right, so level one, we kind of got boned, but now we see Belveth on the map. Oh, I can't move my mouse. Okay, now we see Belveth on the map. So now you can be like, okay, now I can do whatever I want in lane. Right, you can play aggressive, you can do whatever you want. You're good to go, and we know that. So now we don't have to use our ward. Right, we use the info that we got, and she also went bot side. So you're good to go, right? You can lane how you please. You shouldn't be warding. You shouldn't be worrying about anything except Udyr. That's beautiful. And as far as so the way my take on laning phase is kind of like some games you're going to be better than the opponent, some games you're not. I'm not really too hard pressed if you're getting a solo kill every single time or playing perfect mechanically or CS. I kind of like the overall like the general aspect of it.
Okay.
You know, are you making good plays with your wave management? Are you making good plays with your base timings? That's going to be more important than like
Right.
worrying about getting a kill every single time. But I
I
mean,
will say this was also, I think, my second time ever going against a new Udi or top, and
mhm.
oh, this was a dumb flash.
Yeah. So
The rework just wasn't familiar with the matchup.
that's okay. Yeah, and see that's kind of like the point I want to make. You know, you don't have to know every matchup to be a good top laner. Like I know that's what you're told, and you know the school of hard knocks, but like it's top lane's more about like the knowing the basics and stuff. Like for example, this is our first time to learn from this. So every time you have to base or enemy has to base, you have to think about to yourself: do I push the wave? Do I freeze it? Or do I just leave ASAP? So right here is like our first top lane moment of the game. You just made your base, and you know Belveth is bottom. So now you can definitely push this wave out, right? You have more minions. You need to
Right.
push this wave out, and this is kind of like this is a no-brainer in this scenario. But every time this happens, like that should be the thought process. We should never do anything just like because why not? So this
Okay.
is good that you pushed it out. It's the right decision, but it just kind of these are like the building blocks that form top lane. Udyr stayed, but you know that's fine, right? You're in no danger because Belveth is mid lane. We see that on the map. Awesome. So this push is good. It's not greedy. It's not stupid. It's just a good push. Good job.
Okay.
All right, now here is okay. So here, hey, that's kind of like step two of top laning. Like, hey, do I stay there? Right? If you stay there, are you gonna kill him? Probably not. Udyr is tanky, right? Probably not
Yeah.
gonna kill him. Belveth, we saw her hit this cone, so this is a good base. Now, I think the point I want to make is like you might not be thinking about all this, but you should be, right? Every top laner can. You should be able to do it every single game, locked and loaded. And these are pretty easy because it's so early in the game. But as the game gets, keeps going, these are going to get harder to tell which is the right play or not.
Okay. Just curious, if you had Udi or top, what build would you ever ran?
So with Teemo, it's kind of like a very basic flow chart, by the way. So when we get to this wave here, we should look to freeze this because you can tank a couple minions. So how to freeze is they have more minions than you do. You tank a couple and you drag it into the bush, and that creates a freeze, by the way. Then they have to
Okay.
overextend to kind of get to you. But that we'll get into a little later. As far as builds, Teemo's pretty easy right now. Like if you're versus tanky teams, you go Leandries. If you're versus just a normal team, you go Riftmaker. That's really about all there is right now to it. So it's like you look at the enemy team, they have Udyr, Belveth, Yone, Varus, Soraka. You probably go Riftmaker.
Okay.
And that's really just an easy flow chart. Luden's is kind of subpar, Night Harvester subpar, Crown is stinky. And of course you go Nashers first like every game until you hit like Diamond 3. So this is good. We see Belveth mid, right? Still have that map awareness. You can do whatever you want again, and which you are doing. You're playing great so far. You creating that little baby freeze, that's good because like you force him to come out and come fight you. So good job on that.
Okay. But
Everything's
we
doing
could have
good
made
this
it better
game.
by pulling into the bush, right?
No, you played it fine. He was gonna push out
Okay.
that wave. Like, yeah, sure. If you're challenger rank 1, if you're masters and higher, right, you can probably hold it freeze there, but it's not easy to do, and you can't learn that in one coaching session. Like freezing is takes a lot of time to learn. So it's kind of like maybe if we do 5 more coaching sessions, we could perfect how to freeze in that scenario.
Sounds like we should do that then.
Hey, this is so with Teemo. So shrooming is very important, right? We're hitting level 6, so we're gonna get into everything shrooming. For laning phase and all this stuff, right? You have to think about all this while top laning. So number 1, your wave management. Number 2, your base timings. Number 3, shrooming. So you hit level 6 here, hell yeah. You have a shroom. So how do I use my shrooms? Do I put them just all around the map and wait for them to be jungler? Do I use it to push the wave? Do I use it to trade? You should be thinking about all this. So this shroom right here, this is like autopilot. You put a shroom down to push the wave. There's only 6 minions. You don't need that shroom, right? There's kind of like an
Okay.
autopilot move we have to work on. You have a little poke on Udyr. You could go aggressive. I'm not worried about the solo killing, but the shroom was autopilot. That's a good word. We don't know where Belveth is. That's smart. Okay, so now we're in a really good spot. We have a ward.
Real quick,
Go
real
ahead.
quick. So you mentioned I was autopiloting with that shroom there. What would you have done different with that big wave to your back and one shroom available?
Well, we just save it, So in this
Okay.
scenario, right? You don't need to use a shroom. You're just chilling. You're pushing the wave in. If you want to go for you should go for a solo kill here. He's low walking up, right? You have ignite. You should go for a solo kill. You can totally kill him, but like I said, my main focus isn't just soloing all day, right? Because not every Udyr is going to do that. This is you should have solo killed him as the answer, but I'm not going to bust your
Okay.
balls over that, right?
Okay.
Your wave's pushing. It would have pushed without the shroom. You get a ward down. That's great. Like, this ward is good because we don't know where Belveth is. I like this ward. And then after the ward, we just go right back to top lane. And then this is good so far.
Okay.
Okay, we're going over here. All right, I respect this ward too. That's fine. You're safe. Now you could just push with no Fs given. You're in a really good spot right here. You're up 10 CS. This is going really good. This is good stuff.
All right. I'm getting good
Hey,
feedback, so I feel
Cowsep, how you
good right
doing,
now.
buddy? Thank you, pal.
We'll see when the mistakes start piling on later.
Then I get to start screaming at you.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So this is good. This is a good spot. Yeah, this is great. And we need to be just staring at that map for Belveth as well. But this is good. So you're chilling, right? You're pushing the wave. Udyr is really tanky. It's hard to get solos on him. So it's like you're not expected to be solo killing him all day.
I definitely remember that in this game that I'm thinking, man, I need to kill this dude. And there was times where I felt like I had the advantage, but I think I kind of tunnel
We'll see.
visioned,
Yeah, this is a
tunnel
really
visioned on it.
this is like the first part of the game where we'll see where you're at. But this is a really good spot to be in. Put a shroom on the wave, get some AoE damage. Nice. Good job. He's got no TP, so we're just waiting for the right moment. Blue team is... So this is really important. We see Belveth get Drake. So now we really could do whatever the hell we want. There's no wrong decision here. Getting a tower plate is great. If he gives you enough to get a solo kill, awesome. So backing off here, this is kind of this is the autopilot moment. Why are we backing off? Makes no sense. We can auto him. He's got no health, right? Belveth seen on the map basing here. This is like mistake number one of the game. No reason to base.
Okay.
This is an autopilot moment, right? Sure, we have gold, but you're always going to have gold. You got 1400, but you don't need gold to kill him right now, right? Belveth is mid. She's doing things. Nice. You cancel your base. Awesome. You heard me. Good.
I was channeling Manco from the future.
So here you could definitely be a little more aggressive, but I understand why you aren't being, because you don't know the new Udyr. So it makes sense, but we could be a little more aggressive.
It'll change the next time around. Next duty or top.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're not playing bad. Teemo's a scaling champ these days, so you're not playing bad, but we could have killed him for sure. But again, it's like that's like small potatoes compared to the big picture. Okay.
Rip.
This is just like a mechanic check. So, and you see, you don't know all this, so I'm giving you some leverage here. So, you have to blind him before he gets a stun off. And with Teemo, it's not like a delay, but you have projectile speed and he doesn't. So if you blind him before he stuns you, you put a shroom down, you cut him out, you get the kill. But all this, right? You have to verse the Udyr before all that.
So
You got the stun off, he kind of dunked you up.
when he activates his stun, this is me being not familiar with Udyr. I'm familiar with Teemo's mechanics, but Udyr, when he enables his stun, does his skin or something, like, what am I looking for?
Yeah,
his skin
so-
must change or something.
Yeah, so that freaking Ornn looking ram thing, right? When he runs at you with the fucking horns.
Okay.
So see that's Turtle Stance when he activates the ram boy. When he's running at you looking like a fucking Ornn, that's when you got to blind him before he does this animation, because that
Okay.
animation is a stun. If he's empowered, you can't stun him, but that will show over his head.
Okay.
But yeah, but I think the bigger problem here was not having like a decisive game plan. I should have mentioned it earlier. Like when you had at this point, it was kind of like, okay, this is where we saw Belveth mid. You should have one mode, right? Like shove, put him on his tower, poke him to death. That should be like the killer instinct, right? Hey, the jungler's not here. I'm just in go mode. That's what that should have been. Or you can say, okay, I'm not in go mode. I go by the tower. We kind of played this middle ground. That's really why you died, right? The mechanics, sure, right? You could have played better, blah, blah, blah. But the real reason why we died there is because we didn't hard push and we didn't play safe. We kind of played that middle ground, which doesn't always work out the best. That's why I would chalk this death up to more than anything. And I should have mentioned that earlier, but, you know, it's a coach gap.
I don't think my W was back up yet here either.
You know, like I said, I'm not really hard set on mechanics, especially, you know, you already said you didn't even play versus Udyr yet. So it's like,
yeah.
I chalked this up more to like not being decisive with the wave.
Okay.
So we die, we go back. That's okay, not the end of the world. We go back top lane. So far, it isn't a bad game whatsoever. Like, you're still fine. You're up some CS. Okay, so now we come back top. We get a shroom down. Cool. That's fine. Using shrooms for vision is decent, right? We are warding totem is just about to come up. So this is a good part of the game. So now we're lasting slow. You have a couple decisions here. You can hard push it, right? Throw a shroom down, hard push to the tower, or you can do what you're doing right now. What you're doing is the correct way, right? Because like you have no reason to hard push right now. He just killed you, so you're kind of scared. We don't know where Belveth is either. Okay. All right, so then we do hard push. So we see kind of like the you see the biggest mistake so far is the shroom autopilot. So we already nailed that. You just throw that shroom on the way for fun, right? You got a shroom on your pocket, you toss it down. That's a good habit that we caught nice and early, like right here. You know, there's no reason to push this, right? I don't think we're thinking about it too much. So this is your first bad habit that we got to start correcting. Is the shroom on the wave
at this moment in time right here. So I remember actually my thoughts was that I have a big wave, and if I was gonna slow push another one, I wasn't sure if that would make it all the way, and I'd be stuck frozen like right about where that furthest caster minion was. So that's why I made the decision
I think just keeping it more simple is going to be better for you, because it's like the simple concept is my wave is pushing, it will push in, right? It's very unlikely that like if you don't shroom this wave, it's very unlikely that he's going to freeze it on you. Like that's really, it doesn't really make sense, to be honest. And like if you're scared of being in that little spot, you have a ward here. So it's like what the ideal play would have been is put your little ward down and then just keep slow pushing it, right? And you're chilling. You're good. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of
that answers it. Yeah.
And like that whole thought process, I think we just kind of try and wipe that thought process clean. Keep it like simple, right? Gold 3 is not a bad rank, but you don't have to get fancy yet. Gold, you kind of just have to do Teemo things and do them above average. I wouldn't worry about, like I said, honestly, until you hit Diamond 3, I don't think freezing should even be like on your mind, to be honest. I didn't learn how to freeze. I used to be a jungle main. I didn't learn how to freeze till Diamond 1. So it's kind of like it's really not that common at this rank.
Okay. Good to know.
I like this gameplay for you. Put your ward down. Awesome. You get a little shroomy action. Okay, Belveth showed mid. So this isn't bad because you put your ward down as Bell showed mid, so it's not like we weren't looking at that. We're chilling here. I get why you're a little scared versus Udyr. That's fine. I mean, technically, he can all in you right now. If you don't nail that blind, he could definitely run up at you and kill you. So it's like, I get being scared here.
Good to know.
So this game so far, like just to recap, you haven't really done anything crazy, and you haven't really had many opportunities. That one kill, that one time you died, like you played it poorly, sure. That's the only thing that like could be changed so far. Like more, like you're still doing fine. You're up CS, it's all good. Put a shroom in the wave, phase rush, good job from him. Not a bad trade though. Like that's a pretty decent trade. Belveth, we see Belveth mid, so we got lucky their jungler does not care about you this game. So that's like a luxury.
I don't remember if this game was a win or a loss.
We'll find out.
Actually, yeah, we'll just sit through it.
Ooh, okay. All right, Udyr got you. I mean, honestly, that was kind of well played from him. I didn't really expect that out of him. Hit you with the flash tank. Boom. Honestly, I would say that's more well played from him. But so, although I didn't even expect this, I think we see the both times we died, we're in this middle ground, right? This is just hindsight. Honestly, like I said, I did not expect that out of him. 0%. I didn't think he could even do that, to be quite honest. But if you notice, both your deaths have been in this spot where like we're just hanging out in the middle. I would say like make it more black and gray, black and white for yourself. Like either I push, I freeze, or I stay at my tower. Because you died twice now, and it's just like this middle ground where you're back and forth. You're not really pushing. You're not freezing. You're not based. You're not going for his turret. I would say like more black and white, where it's like, hey, I push or I base kind of deal. But I didn't expect that, so.
From your perspective, if we could pause for a sec, since it's the second time I died here, and sorry if this sounds silly, but can we look at the circumstances that led to me being in that situation twice, like from a high level perspective?
Yeah, so
this I didn't even think about like, well, here I am doing this middle ground thing like you mentioned.
Yeah, okay. So so the first death is here. Let's see. So what led to the first death is your first death started when we didn't capitalize on this poke here. So we have this shoved in and we knew Belveth was at Drake. So we took a couple turret shots, right? Poking under the tower. So that's just like bad mechanics. There's a turret shot there. And then we took a turret shot and we're not poking him. So this is like a waste opportunity. We go in the bush, we start basing, but we're not really decisive. And then, we're here and then we're in the middle ground, right? And then just mechanics. Like this is good poke, but then you let him stun you, right? The first death was just because you let him stun you and because we're playing the middle ground.
Okay.
Which is right here. Because if you stun him, if you blind him, you put a shroom down, you ignite, you kill him easily, right? But again, mechanics, like those will come with time. And the second death is, let's see here. So here's the second death. So we took that trade. This trade's not really bad, to be honest. So it's like this trade isn't why you died. You're both like at the same HP. But then we're playing the middle ground, and then he just runs up. He flashes on us. Honestly, I would say this death is more just him being good than you being bad, because like I wouldn't expect this whatsoever.
Okay, so with the wave in this position before this started unfolding, what would you have been doing? Would you have been shoving, slow pushing?
Yeah, so I think just naturally just shoving when the jungler is not a threat, I would just perma shove, because if you know the jungler is not top lane, when you shove, either you're going to kill him or he's going to kill you. If he kills you, you can learn from it. If you kill him, you're going to snowball. So whenever I don't see the jungler, I just like to perma shove, and I would recommend that. When you get to super high level, freezing is more beneficial, but until you get to super high level, like I'm playing in Challenger right now, and I'm not even, like, I barely freeze. It's really not that beneficial. So I would say, if you have no fear of the enemy jungler, I would just be perma shoving, because you're either going to die or you're going to kill him and you're going to learn.
Okay.
That would be my advice, and that's a good question, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Like I said, freezing is objectively the best option, but that's the best option for high levels of gameplay that often isn't even reached in Challenger.
Okay. All right. I got to work on that mentality, because some of this is also just poor habits over, repeated over many games.
Yeah, and this is something we just want to start thinking about, right? Like, every time you go to lane, think about if you want to push or base or freeze, right? Not even freeze. If you want to push your base, it's going to be better. Every time you go to lane, do I want to push your base, right? Can I push him or can I not? Every time you go to lane, where's enemy jungler? Every time you go to lane, those are the big two things to think about.
Right.
And we're going to start macro here soon. So the big thing with League is that you don't have to macro at all till 14 minutes as a top laner usually. Because top lane, you're just going right to top lane because those tower plates. So we're at 13 minutes in the game. Tower plates last till 14 minutes. Oh, this is a great opportunity for you. So you show back to lane. Udyr's one shot. So this is the first opportunity in this game where you should put that shroom down. You should put that shroom down and auto push it, right? And just hammer in those plates. So we need to work on our wave management and our mindset towards that, because there isn't really any rhyme or rhythm to your gameplay right now. We also see them at Drake. We saw them at Drake beforehand. So as soon as you showed up to lane here, you should have thought, hey, this is a freebie. Look at this, right? Udyr's one shot. You know, we don't see anybody on the map, but we can assume they're going to go for Drake, right? Belveth hasn't been up here. We see Belveth now. So we just saw Belveth on the map. This should be just like, hey, we got to be decisive. We got to shove this in, right? Shove it in and get a kill under the tower.
Okay.
And we could see that you don't have that killer instinct. So that's like the biggest thing to note from this VOD so far is one, like wave management in the terms of do I push or do I beast? And then two, work on your mechanics. That would be like the biggest two so far.
Okay. So it felt like being 0-2 against him, my killer instinct was completely gone.
Well, I think I don't think that matters because that death earlier, like at this point in the game, before you died for like you didn't have that killer instinct even here. So I think it's just something you need to develop.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, because like this was the first time where it reared its ugly head, right? Where we're not putting him under the tower and poking, and that's okay. Like you can develop all this stuff. Like here is the first time where like, yeah, hey, you're not pushing under the tower. You're not like, you know, going for it. So it's like we just have to develop it, which is not the hardest to do. Like this is all stuff that's fixable.
Okay.
And it just comes down to decisiveness, right? Just so far, the best advice from this VOD is black and white. Do I push the lane or do I let it push to me? I think that's going to be a great mindset for you going forward. And always think about that.
All right. I've been taking notes this whole entire time as you've been chatting.
Good. And this will be on YouTube and my Twitch VOD, so it's not like it's going anywhere.
It just helps me remember when I write it and then review later.
That's good. I dropped out of college, so I can't really relate. Can't help you there, buddy. All right, so here again, right, we should just be pushing under the tower. Good, it looks like we are. Because even if you poke him, he's going to miss CS, and he also opens himself up for a kill. Nice shroom, auto Q, not bad. Udyr has a lot of sustain, so it's like not killing Udyr is kind of understandable, but, you know, not poking him with the turret isn't understandable. If that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Good poke, awesome. So we should stay here, right? Belveth was bottom. We see her get her KP on the turret. We should just stay here. We've got nothing to be afraid of. And this is also a bad habit you have. So the first bad habit is shrooming randomly on the wave. The second bad habit is when you can push into a turret, you just walk away. Whether to shroom the river or to ward it, whatever reasoning you have not to stay there, to go toward this, like it makes no sense. So this is another tone of autopilot, right? Because we just saw Belveth bottom. So this is just you being autopiloted, which we can't happen in League. You can autopilot playing Fortnite, you can autopilot playing, you know, Raid Shadow Legends, but in League you can't because we're warding for nothing here. We're not warding for their bot lane. Their bot lane's bottom. Their mid laner's not here. Their jungler's not here. So this is just, you know, we don't need mana either. So this is just a pretty big sign of autopilot, and that's not good.
All right, should have been shoving lane. Got it.
Yeah, and especially this game because like a lot of people have tendencies, right? And their jungler showed that she's not going to come top lane. So we didn't use that to our advantage at all. This is a pretty decent stealth. You don't have ignite, but you know I like where this is going. Good blind. Hey, see, good blind. Whether that was on purpose or not, that's clean.
I could have, I think, stepped that a little bit better and stayed with him for a couple more autos.
I think that was okay. Without ignite, you weren't going to get that kill anyway.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, so we shroom the wave here. Whether you did this on purpose or not, right? It is still good. We shroom the wave here to push it in. That's good because, you know, just get it pushed in. Why not, right? We want to go back to base anyway. We see Belveth. That's fine. Yoni's here. Okay, so now starts the hard part of League. This is going to be where macro starts. Well, after whatever happens up here.
Chaos. Chaos.
Yeah. Game's still winnable, though. You're only down 6 kills. No big deal. You're doing fine because look at your CS. You're still up some CS, so it's really not that bad. Hey, we're back in the game, baby. Good fight. Good job. Good mechanics.
Stepped on the shroom.
Jeez, you are nuts.
The heals.
Hey, close. Okay, so that wasn't that bad. Okay, so, I mean, great fight. You kill Belveth. Here, your team's coming awesome. You just fucking bowling a China shop, just sending it. This is so dumb, but I kind of like it. I kind of respect it, right? You have your team here. You got carried away. It's all good. Again, I'm not going to crucify you over mechanics. You kind of just hauled ass in there. You almost pulled it off. Look at this shroom. Nice shroom and blind. Almost pulled it off. Obviously, you didn't need to die. You don't need me to tell you that. That's fine, though. You did get a kill.
You're right.
So you're back in the game. I mean, you're not behind. So this is a part of the game. Hey, you're 1-3, but decent CS. If you compare yourself to Udyr, y'all have the same items, baby. That's what League is all about. If you look at the gold, you're actually ahead of gold. You won't be able to tell this in game, but you're pretty even. You're not behind or anything. So now here starts macros. So top lane macro starts when the turrets go down, the plates go down. So if you get turret at 5 minutes, that's when your macro starts. But oftentimes your macro doesn't start till 14 minutes. 14 minutes, turret plates go down, that starts the mid game. So now every time you leave base after 14 minutes or after your top lane turret goes down, you need to think to yourself, do I go top, mid, or bottom? You're no longer leashed to your top lane. So please start building this habit ASAP. Macro is the weakest part of lower elo players' games. Where do I go? What's my macro? Do I go top, mid, or bottom? If you look at this map, your jungler's bottom farming. Your mid lane, supports mid lane, not doing anything. Yasuo's top. You should go mid lane here, and you should grab that wave. That should be your macro. Looks like you did recognize that. Good. You started to go bottom, then you rerouted. That's good. Good job. You're 1 for 1 leaving the base. Every time you leave base, think about this. Because this is kind of like, you have to kind of predict the map. So your mid lane, you farmed. Your team's picking Herald, right? You could just go to Herald with them. That's fine. See what happens here. The biggest thing about the Neace coaching is that you had a good laning phase in the Neace coaching, but the mid game, y'all did absolutely fucking nothing. So we want to try and work on that. Like, I'm going into this video thinking the macro is going to be a little weak. So far, so good, though. I mean, you went mid, you farmed, and you got a kill over here. That's great. This is good. Very good. I mean, that was great. So here, just to compare, right? This is just macro in a nutshell. What if you were autopilot? What if you didn't think of all this? What if you just went top lane because you're a top laner, right? Then, your team probably still gets the kills, but what if they don't, right? What if they get ace? So this is good macro. You did good. The bad version would just be go top lane autopiloted. You didn't do that. Good job. Whether it was on purpose or not.
There are definitely some games over the past couple of days where I played where it was exactly that. I'm just like, fuck this, I'm going top.
Yeah, and that's the thing with League. That's why I say, like, laning phase, sometimes you're going to win lane, sometimes you're not, but you can always have good macro, and you can always play smart, and that's like the beauty of League. Okay, so we see Herald about to hit top lane. We should go grab top farm. We should haul ass right to top lane. We're a little late. Belveth might get that turret, but going there is still a good idea. So let's see.
Okay.
Which is exactly what you do. So you're doing fine.
So far, so good.
I would think Belveth is going to come... Okay, so Belveth is still top. Awesome. So this is good. Good macro so far. Did we pick up another kill with it?
I remember this.
Close. Ooh, we have flash? Oh, go for it. Oh, it's okay. Hey, that's not bad, though. So, I mean, again, good macro, you get Belveth's flash. So now, macro point. So now you have a hard decision. Do you go to Drake or do you push out top lane? Both these decisions are fine. It's like a pro and con system. And you're going back to base. This is the one decision that's not fine. Oh, no, you have 1,000 gold. Oh, my God, you can get a blasting wand. Thank you. You heard me again. I like this. Okay, so just to comment on this, right? If you look at the map, right, you have two options. You go to Drake with your team, or you hard push out top lane all the way to the turret, right? This is called split pushing if you were to go to top lane, and this would be called grouping if you go to Drake. I firmly believe both options are fine. It depends on you over the long term. So in this very small situation, you should go to Drake. They have two Drakes, right? You should go to Drake and fight. It's third Drake. Soul is important. That's the very small term thinking. But over the course of your games, both options are fine as long as you commit to one of them. Basing would be the only wrong option there, so I'm happy you didn't. So you are choosing grouping, right? So from 14 minutes to now, your macro has been grouping. That's fine, right? This is just for you to know. This is called grouping.
Okay.
And that has been your macro. Seems good so far, and it is objectively correct, so good job. Kill Udyr, beautiful. Hey, we get a couple kills. So, hey, you're doing really well so far in the mid game. Kudos to you. Your laning phase was shit, okay? And we know that, and that's fine. We can work on that. But as far as mid game, your mid game has been wonderful. If you look at it, at 14 minutes, you went mid, you got a kill, you got some farm, and now look, you're grouping here. If you weren't in this fight, your team would get rolled. You finish off Udyr, you got a shroom off. Kill Belvet dies. That's wonderful. Good job. If you weren't there, your team definitely gets shit on. Good group. Now we have a chance to get Drake. Go ahead.
I feel like this is luck though that it worked out, and I need to be intentional behind making these situations work out.
Yeah,
meaning
for sure.
like okay.
No, yeah, like this is like I just look at this whole game as if you're autopilot, but the point of this coaching session is to show you, hey, this is autopilot or this is strategic, and make this strategic, and like as long as you're aware of it, you can learn from it, right? So like and a further note, it doesn't matter autopilot or not, you're playing well right now. So it's like your teammates don't care, aren't going to know if you're autopilot doing this. You're playing well, good job, right? We'll take that and go.
Okay.
I think awareness is the best thing to have in League, whether it's something good or bad. At least you're aware. You absolutely fucking smurfed this team fight. Good job. So, like I said, whether or not you were autopilot, this past 5 minutes you've been hard carrying, and now the beauty of League is like this past 5 minutes. If you replicate this for the next 5 minutes, you're carrying. If you replicate it for the next 5 minutes, you carried the whole game, right? Because in this 5 minute section, from when you left the base at 16 minutes till now, you have gotten like 4 or 5 KP, and you've gotten Drake for your team. So this was definitely the right call. If you went top lane and split push, you would have got a turret, maybe. You went for the team fight, and you got 4 or 5 kills and a Drake. Really good. Okay, here we go. We're leaving base. What's our macro? Let's look on the map, right? Yasuo's bottom. We're not going to go bottom. Misfortune is ADC. She has rights to mid lane. You should go top lane here, because going mid would just be A-ramming. Top lane would be the right call. You go mid here. I don't. I think it's okay to stay mid here for a moment, and then we go to top lane when the wave's a little safe. That's totally fine. So the autopilot shroom, right? Again, so this is a really big habit we got to stop. You're just dropping shrooms for 0. You put a shroom here, right? You only have 2, so you're not even at the full 4 stack. You can still recharge them. Misfortune can farm this wave without your shroom. So this is just, this is your biggest thing, like mechanically, that, is not good. So you got to stop that ASAP.
Okay.
Good, nice KP, whatever. We got to kill, hell yeah. All right, so now, I think this is fine. Going mid, you got to kill, awesome. Maybe we get Baron, hell yeah. Cool, we get Baron. Now what do we do with it? Okay, your whole team's basing except you. Why didn't we base? 700 gold, you don't need to base, that's fine. Your macro's been great so far, good job. Whether it's on purpose or not, this is great, good shit. Okay. This is very important. So Baron time, okay? This will really show if you're a good split pusher or not, or if good team fighting. So with Baron, this is a super serious win con that needs to be taken super serious, right? Like, this should be pictured like you need to do something here. Okay, we base, fuck. So with Baron, once you get Baron, this is like, hey, this is my chance to really blow the game open, right? What am I going to do with it? Obviously, when you have Baron, your minions get stronger. They push faster, do more damage. Awesome. So you being top here, you don't have to hard push because the map's a little scary, right? They could be coming top for you. Everybody's scared of that, but you definitely should not base. Your objective here should be like, hey, I'm going to wait for the wave and I'm going to keep pushing.
I could have stayed in bush and watched what happens on map for a bit, right?
Yeah, which is very underrated. It's very good. Okay. Very good to do that. You base, you go back to mid lane. So we see another bad habit. You autopilot mid every time, right? We're revealing these bad habits. You have the shroom on the wave for no reason. And then you have not playing aggressive enough on the turret. And now you have for your macro, you autopilot mid. Those 3 habits have been shown. So if this VOD ended right now, those are your 3 things to work on, right? Stop putting shrooms down randomly. When you can push someone under the tower, like stay there and auto them instead of just walking away. And then when you're doing your macro, think about it, right? That's your top 3 things to learn that's already worth it.
Okay.
And you can see here, right? You went mid, right? This is your autopilot, right? This is just what you do. You know, there's no rhyme or reason. That's okay. We all have those things. But we should be top lane, obviously. Or, you know, or bot lane. So if you think about your macro, from 14 minutes to 20, it was great. You were team fighting. You were grouping. Now, if you think about this macro, you're not pushing and you're not grouping. So now you're kind of useless, right? You're just withering away because you don't have split push going top lane. You're also not helping your team bot lane. So this is an example of bad macro. And we need to kind of register that and work on that. Very important time of the game, too, with Barons. This is really bad.
It feels like we're wasting Baron.
Yep, and that's exactly what you are. So do you kind of see how, like, you know, making it black and white for yourself will help. Either I split push or I group. And you may notice you're not doing either of those things. So that's something to take away from this. This is mid-game macro. Your team also, same deal, right? Your team's in the same boat. Your team won that team fight. They should be hard pushing, right? If we were coaching your Misfortune or Karthus, like, why are they stopping there? You know, if you look at it from their perspective, you have Baron. You know, Udyrs top, 2 of them are dead, Varus is mid. Why are they not going for this turret? Same deal with them. And this combined, you know, makes your Baron kind of useless.
I know exactly why, because I struggle with this sometimes too. Sometimes I won't add up the math that I see 2 people here and 3 people died. Like yes, I see it on the map, but I'm not doing anything with that information. It's autopilot, like you mentioned.
And you know, League's not an easy game to think of all that about, but the thing about League, the beauty of it is that you don't have to be an 18-year-old Korean kid with perfect mechanics, right? You can be like me, you can be 28 on your deathbed, and you still hit Challenger. And now, see, I know you're around my age, but I know you're jacked, okay? So you can freaking flex your bicep on the keyboard and hit Challenger. You just have to think while doing it.
You just need a little more consistency.
Yeah, well, that's what League is, right? So this push is good. So let's see what we do with it, right? So you're pushing top. This is called split pushing. It's going well. You're getting the wave going. This is great. Let's hope we keep at it. Awesome. Still pushing the wave. Beautiful. Misfortune comes. Hey, this was a good push. So in terms of the game, right, 16 to 20 minutes, you played perfect. 20 minutes to like 23 minutes, you did jack shit. But now we're back in carrying. The last minute you push. This tower is really important. This is 600 gold. This tower is worth 2 kills. So you pushing his tower has been beautiful. Great job of split pushing. Now here is where something that loyal players cannot do for the life of them, which you're doing perfectly. You're still pushing. Good job. Okay, so at this point in the game, a lot of players will start getting scared and they'll go to group. But this is good. You're just ignoring them. I would like to see you go for this inhib turret too. Okay, so your team got rolled, right? Your team got shit on, but that's fine. We see Belveth, Yone, we see Udyr, and we saw their ADC over there. I would like to see you keep pushing this turret, to be honest. Yeah, so I mean that's it. That's that's the macro. I would keep pushing turret. So this is one of the moments where it's like, hey, my team lost the fight, and I know that, and I can still get inhib, right? That should be the thought process, and that's what a good split pusher would do.
You would still think that, even though you saw Udyr and Soraka collapsing?
Yeah, I maybe not inhib, but you would definitely get the turret at least.
Okay.
Because like because like while you're doing this, you can just look at the map and see what's happening, right? We see Udyr chasing after your Nautilus. The Udyr is not coming to you. He's going for Nautilus. We could just watch this happen, right? Like, look, if we were autoing the turret, we could still see this on our map, right? We could be autoing. You could be autoing the turret right now and watching this. Yeah. Like, so that would have been the better play by far. Even if you get this kill, it's still not worth it, right? But you know that's macro, right? The best play would have been get that turret, maybe even inhib. Yep. This is the subpar play, but overall your macro has been pretty decent, so it's not the end of the world. I see it now.
There were so many minions at their top turret. We could have 100% had that, and Nautilus would have gotten away. He's tanky.
Yeah, and this is what all this accumulates to carrying or not carrying. So if you were to stay top, if you would have got that tower, if you would have got that inhib, now you have top lane pressure for 5 minutes. Now you can join the team fights more. Now you can carry, right? Now we're still at base level. We're still at, hey, it's even.
Okay.
Overall, the macro has been good. It's not like you're playing poorly. All right, so now we're team fighting. Let's see what happens here. Belveth is kind of popping off. Good shroom, though. Good flash. All right. Well, it didn't work out. Nice try. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So, all this stuff, there are little details I'm not acknowledging. Like, as you're going mid here, like, if we're really... So, my coaching style is, like, the big picture. If you were, getting a coaching with a very, like, detail-oriented coach, which I should be, to be honest. Like, right here, Karthus is dead, right? Karthus is dead. This makes it a bad fight by default because Karthus is dead. That's kind of, Karthus is your main damage. Bel'Veth, she's 6-3. This is a bad fight just because Karthus is dead. Yone's dead too, sure, but, it's still a bad fight. Karthus is dead. He's kind of like your carry by team comp. Right, so this whole time, like, pushing mid was the better idea, or pushing top. But I always like stuff like this. I think it's worth a shot. It's not like this could go better, maybe, right? You never know. The league has so many variables, but it's kind of like
a coin flip.
Yeah, this is a coin flip where pushing top would have been a guaranteed, but we already acknowledged that earlier. Same deal. But you can kind of see how it affects your gameplay in real time, because like this past minute has been a waste when you could have been pushing top.
Yeah, this makes a ton of sense like this. Like, talking about top, like, we would have been playing a whole different thing with that top pressure.
Yeah, it's hard to realize this in-game, but that's part of, League of Legends. And even this fight still, right? This whole fight is a waste of time. Being over here is a waste of time. This is what you said. This is called coin flipping. Whereas coin flipping a fight, coin flipping kills, there's no meaning to it. It's just like, damn, we're just playing League to play right now, right? Like, you got some kills, like, hey, gold is good, but at the end of the day, this isn't really... That could have went much poorly, but, not the end of the world. Worked out. Now let's see what we do with the gold. You're having a good game. So you're 5-3-5. You're fed. It's not like you're... So this is a good part of the coaching, because, like, you're not having a bad game, but you can see the biggest impact of this game. Getting at the top and hit would have been so clutch.
Yeah.
So you're not playing poorly, but you can see how you could have carried.
Yeah, going back through it like this, with you coaching me through, like, seeing that, oh my gosh, that would have been monumental.
Yeah, and also look at this. We identified this habit. You always go mid lane. You just always go mid lane out of base. So, like, that's a big habit. We gotta stop.
Where would you have went in this case?
So in this case, it's fine, right? Going mid lane is the right call because Yasuo's bottom. You go mid. You kind of wait here for a pick, then maybe go top. But like every single time you left base, you went mid lane. That's kind of like the bigger picture,
That's that autopilot shit. I need to.
Yeah. So
by the way, I'm using profanity. I don't know if you allow that on your channel.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
But like yeah, it worked. It's been working out, but I don't think that we're thinking about it, and that's the bigger problem.
Okay.
Oh, Karthus got pooped on, but it's honestly not a bad fight. Okay. All right, so here's a good point in League to learn from. Okay, look. So here, your team got pooped on, Karthus got caught, but what you can do right now is push mid lane. This is a very big point in the game. I don't think you're going to do that, but that would be a really good play right now. Because you're going to go to Baron with Yasuo. Y'all are going to walk around Baron. You can't... Okay, so this is kind of one of the things that learn this now will help you so often. It's okay to give objectives, right? The numbers don't lie. You and Yasuo, here's what's going to happen. I didn't watch this VOD. Y'all are going to ping Baron. You're going to die. You're obviously not going to get the Baron because your jungler's not freaking alive. And why do all that when you can go mid and get inhib or get tower or get farm? And this is something so many players do. Like, dude, Baron's gone. Your jungler's dead. You're not going to get Baron. It's not rocket science. So, it's okay to give objectives to take objectives. Okay, put that in a novel. Write it down. Give a Baron here. You go take their inhib. Play the realistic odds. Like, yes, like, look, this isn't rocket science. We knew this was going to happen. It's logic. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So,
it looks so stupid looking at it now. Like, why did you do that?
So many players do that. I don't know why. And now this is the big picture. You just gave Bel'Veth 900 gold. Look at how much gold she has. Not only did she have like 1,000 for Baron, you just gave her 900. For what?
Yeah.
Instead of going mid and getting inhib, you gave her 900. And this is like so stupid. A lot of players do it. Yasuo as well. Look, same deal. What's he doing? So. Couple moments this game where it looked kind of easy on the VOD, but you have to kind of do that in the game. All right, now we're gonna play a little trivia. Okay, everybody in YouTube, when the sauce leaves base, is he going to go top, mid, or bot lane? Let's
Which
see.
lane
Oh,
bingo?
he goes mid lane. Wow, what a shocker. Oh, wait, hold up. Bottom jungle, a little different. Okay. It was worth it. Okay.
Throwing curveballs at you guys.
So you should have went top lane. That would have been the good answer. We're looking at the map, or bot lane. So from this picture right here, so actually, yeah, going bot lane was a great answer because your team's going top. Awesome. So going bot lane is the right answer here. If you want to farm wolves and gromp before you go bot lane, hell yeah. Because I think from base, you always want to go from base and push a wave. That's like what top laners do. Go to base, push a wave, then think about team fighting. Go from base, push a wave, think about team fighting. Here are your bottom. Awesome. Probably not going to 1v1 Udyr, but that's fine. Okay, so just to recap throughout the game, in your laning phase, right, we were autopilot by not like harassing under tower and putting your shrooms on the wave. Then your mid-game autopilot, these are just, when I say autopilot, it's more like things to learn from. Your mid-game, you often go mid lane, but now here's the second habit. You're scared of split pushing. So here's another good example. Why not keep pushing bottom, right? Like if you think about it, we're going mid lane. Why are we going mid lane? You have two people there.
I could tell you.
Okay.
That's so. I saw their they have two mid, and I just saw Udyr leave. We have vision on Udyr. I'm thinking they're about to start probably a team fight, and I wanted to be there to support that. That is what I was thinking at this point.
I think a good concept. I think especially when you're still like learning. When you're still ranking up, I have this is my like take on the game. Diamond 3 is when you get super serious about your gameplay. Like I feel like when someone hits Diamond 3, that is when like they know the game in and out. Until you hit Diamond 3, I feel like you're in that learning stage, almost like an apprentice, right? An apprentice isn't a useless piece of shit. An apprentice knows a lot and they're learning, but you're still in that learning aspect. Until you hit Diamond 3, I would have that mindset of like, okay, I would throw whatever you think about out the window and think about what is the right play and what am I doing. So like here, for example, and again, black and white, I have two options. I can split push or I can team fight. So if you're going to team fight, you should immediately base and go meet them at this turret, right? If you're going to split push, you should go right down bot lane and split push. Those are the two options you have. You chose option number 3. It's kind of like do the hokey pokey. So now you're going to walk to mid lane, you're going to go back bottom, then you're going to maybe walk to Drake, go back bottom. But we got to be more decisive. See? So we do the hokey pokey here. If we were going to team fight, we should just go back to base immediately. If we're going to split push, we split push immediately. You could see here you're doing neither. You're doing none of those options, and that costs you pretty hard.
Yeah.
And this is a habit we've identified throughout this game. So your macro, right? We got to be more just, either team fight or split. It can't be the hokey pokey. Because this is what happens when you hokey pokey. You didn't split and you didn't group. So it's kind of like, damn, you kind of just lose. Okay, I think they end, right?
Yeah, they have Baron.
Okay, this game was not this game wasn't like bad on your part by any means, and it wasn't like it wasn't like a banger, right? It wasn't super action packed, but there was a lot to learn from there. So it's like, to recap just this one VOD, right? This is just one VOD review. This is one game out of hundreds you're going to play. This one game, we've seen your habits. Pretty much, if I had to give you 3 things to work on, and most importantly, I would say in laning phase, I would just say you should push or you should be near your turret more. Kind of just trying to eliminate that middle ground. Either push and base or wait for the wave to get to your turret, right? If you're losing, wait for the wave. If you're winning, push and harass. I think that would be very beneficial. Number 2 would be your macro, either group or team fight. So this game, you had a good 5 minutes there where from 16 minutes to 20 minutes, you only grouped and you popped the fuck off. You only grouped for 4 minutes. You got 5 KP and a Drake. That was beautiful. But then the next 10 minutes, you did neither. You didn't group and you didn't split. So then we lost. But think about another world where, like, if you were to group that had that same productivity, you would have carried. So 1 is just in laning phase where either you're pushing or you're playing safe. 2 would be either grouping or team fighting. Grouping or splitting. And again, this is like, when I say that, it's very generic, but try and think to this game and try and make it, to where it's actually valuable advice. And number three is just like those bad habits. Going to mid lane and streaming the wave randomly, that was kind of like the bad habits we got to work on.
All
That would
right,
be the top three.
I have a couple things on there. Yeah, I took a lot of notes on that, so definitely got to work on the autopiloting.
I would say like I would say we can do another coaching in a week or so. Maybe not on stream and YouTube, but I would say like in a week from now, the next game we look at, let's just work on one thing. So it's like the next VOD review we do. Hey, your macro is clean, right? Who cares if you went 0-10 in lane, but your macro was great and you split push? That's a W, right? Or like, hey, you got shit on, but at least you were pushing when you needed to and going for harass. I think like
Yeah.
work on just one or two or those three things, and that's what I would just keep it just like that and try and knock those out of the park. Because with coaching, it's like it's very easy to overwhelm you, but those three things are like, boom, do it big.
Okay. Just a sec, I'm writing some of this stuff down.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I have homework from Manco to work on.
There you go. But I think this game was good. I think you still had a decent game. It's not like you played poorly, but we definitely could have had a chance to carry.
With you highlighting it the way, like there's different defining moments, I can see how it would have had drastic impact on the game.
Yeah, for
Really drastic
sure.
impact.
Yeah, those
It's
couple moments, and then just like the little mechanical mistakes, or like the little mindset mistakes.
It comes from, I think it comes from repetition, is being able to recognize that these patterns in the game are about to happen, and I should take advantage of them because at this point it's kind of, I feel like it's not strategic, but I'm getting lucky on it. So I got to work on building it into the pattern recognition.
I think repetition, but also concentrated focus, if that's a word. Like if you go into a game saying like, "Hey, I really want to focus on my wave management," and then boom, you nail it, and then if you do that 3 games in a row, you can damn near do it every game, right? So it's kind of like a combo of both.
Right.
Because like and that's kind of where coaching's broken because like if I'm on your ass, if I say, "Hey buddy, listen, good session here, work on these, and I'm going to see you in a week," then you bet your ass you're going to be concentrated for the next week of games. That's where the coaching buff comes in. But
100%.
we want to build these habits that we talked about throughout this game. We want to work on that till the end of time, right? Till we can't play League any longer.
Yeah. The coaching, I love that you phrase it like that. The coaching buff is such a thing. Because I have a trainer as well in powerlifting, and when you pay for these things, like it's accountability. You treat it completely differently versus when it's just you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But I'll be on your ass in a week. I'll see you in a week.
All right, cool.
And thanks for doing this. And good luck. Have fun. And you can watch it on YouTube too. Drop a comment. I'll shout you out.
I definitely will. All right, thank you
All right,
so
buddy.
much, man.
Thanks for your time. Take it easy.
See ya.